Good morning, good morning. This is day 8 of the 10-day Crush Your Inner Critic Reset series. If this is the first time you're joining me, thank you, that's awesome. You can still access the earlier trainings on my website by clicking action steps. And yesterday we talked about the purpose of having goals, about making real commitments, and why having goals are important for succeeding in life, along with what happens if you don't have them. So I'm Pamela Hartnell, founder and CEO of Mindfit Mastery and your empowerment strategist. And today I'm super excited because I want to share the concept of words and pictures and how they relate to successful goal achievement and that process of setting you and your goals up for success. So a reminder from yesterday, especially if you weren't here, that goals serve as a roadmap that we follow. They give us direction, they give us guidance, and they show us where we're at and how we're getting there. Otherwise, we're like a boat in the ocean with no steering. And if you check out that yesterday's one, you'll understand what that means, that reference is. And August says, good morning, I'm ready. Yes, you are going to love it. And JP, good morning to you too. Thank you for joining me, guys. And Facebook user, I'm sorry, you need to give access to StreamYard. So I'm going to say good morning to you. I don't know who you are. Thank you for being here. But give StreamYard access so they can see your name. Okay, so goals, if you were or were not here yesterday, and they provide a way for us to hold ourselves accountable. They motivate us and drive us, and they make us use our energy and time effectively. And of course, you have to have a success plan so that you know what you're following. And my success plan, and I'll just quickly share that with you, and one that works really well for me, is to write out my vision, then to break it down into achievable mini steps, and then create strategies for achieving those steps. Jen, you're here too. Good morning. You got up. She's going to kill me for that. And create strategies to achieving those steps, then work out where I might slip up or meet any external resistance, and create a contingency plan for that, because it's a little bit like playing chess. If you know what's coming or what could happen, you can prepare for it so that you don't get caught unsurprised and then you flounder and don't know how to deal with it. And then I put all of that on a visible chart, and I have it several places around the house where I can see it, so that at any time, no matter what I'm doing, it's prompting me to remind me of where I'm going, what I'm doing, and what I'm trying to achieve. And then, of course, I go after it like a dog with a bone. So by having a process like this, I never think, or a step-by-step process, I never think that a goal is too big, because I'm not looking at the end result. So if I've got my process sort of lined up like this, I've got the little mini steps along the way. So I can look at my chart and go, I'm there, and then I slip back and I can get there. I want that big goal at the end, but I'm not focused on that, because otherwise it can feel too big and it's insurmountable. So I'm just looking at the little steps I'm going to take, and this one, and this one, and this one. And I work myself as I inch closer and closer towards my goal. And then I create a visual. That's my written one. And then I create a visual for that too, so I can have them everywhere around the house, especially where I'm cleaning my teeth, because I'm there twice a day and I'm there for 3 minutes. And all of that serves to prompt me and remind me, hey, this is where you're heading. This is what you're trying to go for. This is what you're trying to do. So yesterday's worksheets, if you did them, that's fantastic. They would have started you on this process already. And it's awesome if you did. And if you didn't, you can always do it now. We'll catch up today. And then I did see Sebastian, I think, pop up. So thank you, Sebastian, for joining me. And hello. I saw it come out the corner of my eye. Good day from Galaxy SZA19AX. Okay, you're playing with Star Trek. Yay, high-tech mother. Very good morning from India. Day 8, congratulations. Thank you. And thank you for being here and always being so super supportive. I really appreciate that. So the process then of setting up that vision, setting up your prompts and setting up your flow chart, it gives you something to work towards every single day. You're not just thinking about a big goal and it's like, oh, it's too much. It's all too, I don't know where to start, because you've given yourself somewhere to start. So it's a great reason, and it's a great process. And when you take your time, especially to work out what resistance and where it's going to come from or who it's going to come from, you have a plan for it. So like I say, you can counteraction it. So I work with my clients in a similar way, and I'll show you how I find what other strategies I actually use, and you might find some of these useful too. So we work out where they are now, where they want to go, what that gap is, and how and why that's important to them, and like, how is it so important right now? You've been doing whatever you've been doing for so long. Why has it become important right now? Because understanding your why is what's going to keep you going. If it's a strong enough why, it's going to keep you going when it all gets like too much and too hectic and the resistance is too strong and stuff. So it's going to keep you going. And then there's a brilliant book by Stephen Covey that always says start with the end in mind. So that's how I start with my clients. We start with like this is where you want to go, and then we reverse engineer that, and we set small goals, and then like daily ones, weekly ones, monthly ones, and then yearly ones, so that you eventually, as I said, what that I do, get the clearer vision. So for example, we'll start, if you want to be somewhere in 5 years, then you need to go, where do I need to be at the 4-year point, and so that I get to the 5-year point? Where do I need to be in 3 years so that I meet the 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, and or we keep working backwards. So where do you need to be in 6 months so that in 12 months you're where you want to be, so that you're going to make your 2-year goal? And obviously that comes all the way back down to 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 1 week, and then individual goals for the week. So every single day you should be working on a tiny little bit towards your goal, because it doesn't matter. You don't have to do something big every day, but just a little bit. You kind of, it's like eating a big cake, a little bit at a time. And I know this can be daunting and it can feel like a big task on your own. So I want you to know you don't have to go it alone. I specialize in bringing out the best in people. So it's my zone of genius. At least that's what my clients tell me. So if you want help with that, you know how to find me. All right, so let me just share with you then how I teach them to do this. It's very powerful what I'm about to share with you. I know because I loved it when I learned it myself. It's visualization, and yes, I know visualization is as old as the hills, as are vision boards, but sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And I believe it's only because they're not being used properly, and I'll share what I mean by that. So there's two ideas that I've learned in my 45 years of life with my personal development. Yes, I'm 60 years old, and I started a very long time ago. I started thinking about emotional intelligence when I was in my 20s, and people are like, "You're the only one who talks like that, Pam. It's not a thing." And I said that emotional intelligence was more important than internet IQ. And so they're like, yeah, whatever. But anyway, that's another story again. So the first idea I want to share with you is words and pictures. Okay, and the importance. Yay, August! You just became my new best friend. August says, no way am I 60. Send that man some flowers. Team, did you get that? Okay, so words and pictures, and the importance of words and pictures, because thoughts are made up of words and pictures and feelings, right? So every picture you have in your mind has a picture, has a word, and every word has a picture. And both of those flush your body with the appropriate neuropeptides and chemicals that match that thought. Think about that for a second. Then all of that creates an expectations and understanding and implied knowledge. For example, if I said to you, hey, I can have a coffee with you now, but in a minute I've got to go and my builder's going to come. And then someone turns up with a briefcase and thank you, turns up with a builder's outfit on. If they turn up with my team are going to get fired now. They got all the wrong pictures up. If I tell you my builder's going to turn up, all right, and they turn up in a suit and they with a briefcase and they look more like a lawyer, you're going to go, wait a minute, that's your builder? There you go. Thank you. Spot on, team. You're back on track now. And then if I say to you, we're going to get on an airplane, but we go outside and that airplane's not there, but there's a horse out there, you're going to go, wait a minute. Why is there a horse outside? I thought we were flying, because you've already got a picture in your head because of the word I used. So airplane, something different. It's not looking like that beautiful looking horse there, right? So you got to understand that concept first. And it's relevant because the English language is really, really ambiguous and has tons of interpretations. Like, I was held up on the train. What do you mean you were held up? As in someone physically held you up? You were held up by gunpoint? You were held up because you were late? Whatever. So it's really, really ambiguous, and you've got to know what you mean. So when you're writing your picture, you have to know exactly what it is you're aiming for. Consider this then as well, something I learned in NLP. If that cat cries again, I'm going to throw it outside and it can sleep in the darn shed at the top of the hill for all I care. Now, it seems like a simple sentence, but there's so much that you now have to imply if I'm talking to you for that to make sense to you. For instance, you got to, it implies, and you've got to understand that I'm actually inside because I said I'm going to throw that cat outside. You've got to understand and think that I have a cat because I've talked about I'm throwing that cat out. And it's cried before, and there is an outside, and there's a hill outside, and there's a shed at the top. So many things when we're having conversations with people that we have to imply, well, you know, that they've got a cat because they're going to throw it outside. Does that, that, if that doesn't make sense, listen to this again, all right, and over and over and over, and get that into your head, right? That when you're having a conversation, that person, in order to understand what you're saying, has to imply a ton of things, all right? So, and I'll give you another example of why it's so important. I have a client that was getting hurt by an adult as a child, and she just wished and wished and wished that she was bigger so she could protect herself. Now, think about the language she used. It was child language. And what she was meaning by bigger was obviously taller and stronger. But as an adult, we wouldn't say that, would we? We wouldn't say bigger, because bigger means larger. Like, I'm 5'2", I know. I feel much taller. But if I'm 5'2", and if I was bothered by my size, I wouldn't say I wish I was bigger. I'd say I wish I was taller. So she grew up, as she grew up getting bigger, but not, she obviously grew taller as well, but she grew up getting larger. So now she's on this, and she's trying to lose her weight and get fitter. She is struggling because the reason that she is bigger rather than taller is because she set that up as a child to protect herself. So why would she want to lose the one thing that she's got set up in her mind that's protecting herself? You have to think about that. It's quite a breakthrough, isn't it? And can you see why so many people go on these diets and they fail? Because it's not really about losing the weight. It's like the reason that the weight's there in the first place. Because when my client was looking in the mirror, she wasn't seeing all the extra fat that she didn't want. She was seeing strong. She was seeing powerful. She was seeing, you can't touch me. So that's why words and pictures are super, super important. And Parker says, words have so much power. They do. Think about, instead of pictures, think about the swastika, right? Words have so much power. Same word can mean so many things to different people. Great example. Intense. You know, and it really is, like, especially that example with my client and my Facebook user. I'm not sure who you are, but thank you. Language is really, really important. So important. It is. Absolutely. Thank you. So yeah, so when she looks in the mirror, she's seeing, like I said, she's seeing strong. So she's not going to want to not be strong. And she's not going to want to be able to protect herself. So that's going to sabotage any effort she has at dieting. Now that we've found that through a process that I use when I do that, we can actually change that picture in her head so that stronger and taller and all of that sort of, it's just got messed up. That's all. Okay, so I could go on and on about that, but for the sake of keeping on time, I will, if you ever have do work with me or take any of my courses, you'll get to learn about that a lot more. So before I go on, Jim's what he says, oh, Jin, my friend, I can so relate bigger meaning strong to me when I was younger. Absolutely, because you have very little language as a child. So you just come out with, I want to be bigger. If I was bigger, you wouldn't be able to do that to me. But bigger in your mind means bigger this way, not bigger this way. And then High-Tech Mother says, I wish my ex-siblings understood how hurtful their words were and how they impacted my own image in my mind. Absolutely. You know, but there's things that you can do to actually change that. High-Tech Mother, but yeah, absolutely, I get that. So the second picture, second idea I want to share with you then is a visualization idea. Now I call it, I've got three names for it. And the first one is bottle of Coke. And if I was to say to you, can you go to the shop, please, and get me a bottle of Coke? And you would go, sure, I can do that. You would know what you were looking for. You would know the size of it, the color of it, what's inside of it. It wouldn't be in the fresh fruit section because you know it's probably going to be down with the soft drink, so you would know where to look for it. And if it didn't have Coke in your first store of choice, you could go to your next store or the next store or the pub or a petrol station or the corner store. And if some 15-year-old had tipped all the soft drinks in the pile in the middle of the floor, you could actually sift through all of that and actually find your bottle of Coke because you know you have a very clear picture. Thank you, High-Tech Mother says I'm learning so much from you. You have a very clear picture in your mind of what a bottle of Coke looks like. So it doesn't matter. It could be the last one at the bottom of the pile. You know it. You have it. You can keep going. Your mind throws you up options. They don't have it. Go there. That pub doesn't have it. Okay, try the corner store. It can throw you up options after option. So you keep moving towards your goal of buying the bottle of Coke. Okay. Clear the screen of your mind with that and think about a fire extinguisher. Now, fire extinguisher, you've got minimal info. Hey, look at that. Oh, my my things are happening today. This is awesome. My fire extinguisher, you have minimal info. You know that it's red. You know that it's got stuff inside it, but you don't know exactly what's inside it because it depends what type of fire you're going to use to fight it. Use it for to fight. So you've got minimal info. Now, if I say, can you go and get that refilled? You may have an idea about where that could be refilled, but you may not. So you can't really take action. You haven't got as much info as a bottle of Coke. You haven't got all these different options. Your mind's not going to throw you up this option, this option, this option. Oh, try that and go there, because it doesn't have any of that. So then think about this. Clear your mind with that. Then think about a gobbledygook. Now, you might go, all right, well, I'd love to help you, Pam, but what on earth is a gobbledygook? And I'm interested to see what picture team throw up now. So gobbledygook, what is it? If I said to you, can you go and get me some? You're not even going to be able to move, because you might have a version in your mind of what your gobbledygook is, but you don't know what my gobbledygook is. And gobbledygook, what is it? It's not a real word. So your mind can't throw you up any options. It can't give you a picture, so you can't go after what you want. You can't do anything. Sebastian says, LOL, that word makes me laugh always. It's such an English word, I think. So yeah, it's gobbledygook. It's important then, isn't it, to have a clear picture. So I hope you understand that. So I always say to my clients, when you're making your vision, let's make sure we're creating an unambiguous an unambiguous bottle of Coke vision, so that you actually get to achieve it, because it's not ambiguous and unclear. So gobbledygooks, you had to look at your goal now, and I want you to say, is it important? Just like a bunch of malarkey. I know, as Sebastian says. So it's important then, all right, that you make sure your vision is a bottle of Coke vision. And I've said that a couple of times, and I'll say it again, bottle of Coke vision. Because if it's gobbledygook, you're never going to achieve it. And if your words are ambiguous, you're never going to achieve it, because just like my client, what does it really mean? So a clear picture with the right words will bring your attention to the right things and the right people, and get your mind to throw up the right actions that are relevant to you achieving your goal, that are being represented by the right picture. All right, taller as opposed to bigger. All right, so I want you to remember you were born limitless. And to recap then, I want you to decide what's important to you, set intentions for your goals. Remember to know and understand your big why, your reason that you want to make that change. And when you're ready to change now, commit to memory that you were born limitless, because you were. And if you've done my Sunday meditation, that's a whole process of reconnecting you with your inner child, and being limitless, like learning to walk and talk and feed yourself by yourself without any videos, without any instruction. So that's it from me today. I'm going to leave you with one question though. How will you start your big reset right now? Because you can make changes, can't you? It's time. Ready? Reset. Go for it now. And High Tech Mother says, each session of yours is more powerful than the last. Thank you, High Tech Mother. I really appreciate you sharing that. I certainly put my heart and soul into all of these. So as with every day, there's a worksheet that goes with this mini training, and you can access it by the link below, clicking on action steps. And again, as I'll say always, you don't have to do the tasking. It's only there for me to give you prompts to listen to the video and go through it, and hopefully get you somewhere working towards your goal. So you can join. I just have to check out one thing. Join the Facebook group. Okay, I'm being reminded to ask you to join the Facebook group. Thank you, team. I love having my team over there going, remember to say this. So feel free to join the Facebook group. You can find the link below too. And tomorrow when you come up, we're going to go into more depth about crushing obstacles that get in your way. So until then, live your life large and live it with passion. Reset, be authentic, and be you. Bye for now.